Story 1. Am I the a-hole for refusing to have any contact with my late husband's affair child? This is a long story, so buckle up. 7 years ago, my husband passed away. A few months after he passed away, a 15-year-old teenager came to my house. She revealed that she was his daughter. His name isn't on her birth certificate, but he really stepped up after he found out that her mom died when she was 10. She went to live with her grandmother, and my husband paid her grandmother each month to help with the expenses. After my husband died, the payments stopped and her grandmother threw her out. After being homeless for a couple of weeks, she came to my house. This was a pretty big shock to me, and I cannot stress how much I didn't want this person in my house. At the same time, I couldn't leave a child homeless, so I told her that I would help her and give her a place to stay. I also warned her that I only want to help her out and that I am not taking any maternal role and she shouldn't expect me to. She agreed. She stayed at my house from the years of 15 to 18. My kid had already gone off to college, and I didn't mind. I never acted on the resentment I felt, but at the same time, I refused to do anything that could be considered parent-like. I pretty much only provided her with food and gave her a place to stay, that's it. She left when she was 18. I didn't have any contact with her after she left. She's now 20, and she contacted me recently. She wanted to connect, and she told me that I'm the only mother figure she has. She wanted to bond with me, and she wanted me to consider her a daughter to me. After some contemplation, I reminded her that it wasn't a role I was willing to take, and that it was something I warned about very early on. I helped her because she needed it, not because I loved her. She cried and told me that it wasn't fair and I wasn't giving her a chance. The thing is, I don't think I have to. I've tried refusing politely, but she keeps pushing this, and I'm about to block her everywhere. My kid, who has always refused to even talk to the girl, thinks I'm right. My friends are divided on this issue. Am I the a-hole here? We talk about a situation that there's really not much of a precedent for. I don't think that you're an a-hole. You're not required to feel an emotion and a connection with someone that you don't feel. And so, no, I don't think that you're an a-hole. I mean, would it have been a nice thing if you could have connected and stuff? Yeah, maybe, but you certainly don't have to. I feel bad for that girl, she's, doesn't have a mom, doesn't have a dad, the grandma kicking her out. I don't know what that's about, but come on, grandma, be there for the kids. So yeah, that really, really sucks for that person. And I would want to do what I could to help her and help her find a new family of her own, friends and stuff like that to connect with. But yeah, I get both sides, but in the end, no, you can't force a connection with somebody like that. And so, no, you're not an a-hole. As much as I really feel bad for that young girl, hopefully she can find, the family that she needs. Story 2. I found a hidden camera in my room. On June 15th, I heard a talking device in my room. It said something somewhat quietly, and I couldn't understand it. I jokingly texted my boyfriend that something in my room was talking to me, thinking it was just some device I might have left on or something, so then we both just disregarded it and let it be. Everything was fine until Sunday night, when I heard something clearly say something like, "The camera connection is successful." I thought it was strange, so I started looking around and went through literally everything in my room and moved my dresser forward a bit, but could not find anything. I then called my boyfriend about it, and he told me if I found whatever it was to just throw it away. So I continued my night like normal and played some games, then went to bed. The next morning, I wanted to watch some TV on my Roku, but apparently when I moved my dresser looking for the sound, I knocked it down, so I had to move my dresser more and look completely behind it. I had a pile of stuffed animals leaning against the dresser, so to avoid them falling over, I moved them out of the way. But when I did, I found a home camera plugged in behind my dresser, and it was on. I quickly unplugged it and called my mom crying. She was at work. She seemed freaked out, yet somewhat calm, and told me we'd figure it out when she got home. But I had work and was going to my boyfriend's house after. So this camera was in my room for 2 weeks, and at this point I was freaked out. Nobody had been to our house in a while, and the only people in the house were my 2 brothers, mom, and stepdad, and we have deadlocks on our doors, so there's no possible way of someone breaking in. It has to be one of my very own family members, and I don't know how to find out who. My boyfriend and I have the camera, but my parents are telling me to bring it back because they paid for it, and that I should just let it go because we won't find out who hid it in my room, and that they are setting it up in our living room because that's where it used to be to see the front door. So my parents are being really chill about this situation and aren't trying anything to find out who it was and only care about the fact that they paid for it and want it back. My boyfriend and I want to take it to the police, but my parents are telling us no, and I'm afraid they'll kick me out or treat me badly if we do. I'm staying with my boyfriend because I'm terrified to go back. Someone in my house has been watching me without clothes and everything, and my guesses are it's my teen stepbrother or stepdad, but no matter who it is, I'm pretty sure my mom is covering for them. Note, my mom would never do something like this. Yeah, I'm sorry, if mom is not on the side of finding out who is doing this, then you can't trust your mom. You go to the police with this or something. Do not go back to that house. How can you feel safe there? That is just such an unbelievable violation of your privacy, and the fact that they're all just like, well, we paid for that camera, bring it back. No, absolutely not. That's so gross, and just, like I said, how would you ever feel safe there anymore knowing that one of your own family members did this? That is genuinely very terrifying and something that you should be pressing charges over. I can't understand how the mom can try and brush this aside, probably because she doesn't want to have to think about just how awful that is. Like, knowing that one of these people that she loves and trusts could do something like this. But I'm sorry, Mom. You can not want to acknowledge that someone in your family's doing it, but you kind of have to because your daughter is at risk. So do something, Mom. And daughter, do not take chances. That is not a safe environment. Story 3. The customer who tipped a fake $100 bill. This is not my story. This happened to my friend. They don't use Reddit, and when they told me this, I had to share because I love it, and I'd never expect it from the friend who did it. I work as a server. This one guy always comes to the restaurant I work at. He usually is pretty quiet and never tips too well. Most of the time he comes with a couple of friends or by himself and sits at the bar and watches a sports game. I've never had a problem with him until he came in one day with a date. I've never seen the woman before, so I assume they were new to dating. Anyways, they sat at the table this time in a more quiet part of the restaurant, and they were sitting at one of my tables. I had no problem with them, and everything was going fine. They asked for the check, and I went right around the corner from their table. It was close by, so I was quick. As I was coming back to the table, the guy says to the woman, "Watch this," as he puts down a $100 bill on the table. He saw me, and he was joking like, "Oh, you weren't supposed to see that." And I was ecstatic either way, even though it was so obvious he was trying to impress the woman. I didn't care. I waited till they left to go grab the $100 bill. When I unfolded it, it was one of those fake $100 bills, I guess, for pranks. That means this freaking guy planned this out to impress this woman. It was so frustrating because I needed the money, but at the same time, I thought it was because I did a great job. Either the woman was in on it or he decided to be a jerk in 2 different ways. Told my manager and he was like, "Wow, that's ridiculous." I decided to hold on to it because I knew the day would come when I could get back at this guy. 2 weeks later, my manager recognized the guy, and while I was working at the time, I was in a different side of the restaurant, which was already full. My manager found me and asked if I wanted that customer's table as well, and told me he was with the woman from last time. I often joked with my manager about throwing the fake $100 back on the table in front of that woman if he ever came back to embarrass him. I thought to myself, yeah, I may be busy already, but if I also thought, sure, what's one more table? Told my manager, absolutely, no problem, with a smirk on my face. Before I went over to their table, I ran out to my car to grab the fake $100 bill that was sitting in my cup holder for this exact moment. I got to their table, and they instantly recognized me. The woman seemed normal, but the guy looked like he was nervous. I pretended nothing happened all the way until I got their check. When I brought the check back, I placed it down on the table as well as the fake 100, but left it unfolded so the fake part was showing. I looked at the guy and said, "Hey, not sure if you remember me from last time, but I believe you forgot this. Just returning it because I believe it was too much." The woman looked very confused, so I instantly knew she was not part of it. But the guy got all nervous and said, "I don't know what that is." I said, "Oh, my mistake," and laughed and said to the woman, "Have a good night," and walked away. When I came back, there was a big 0 on the signed copy and a $50 bill, real this time, where the woman was sitting after they had left. One can only assume that the guy didn't want to tip on his card, so he wrote obnoxiously big zeros on the tip, and that $50 just happened to be where the woman was sitting. So I'm hoping she had placed it there. Now, I don't know what happened with the couple or if they stayed together, but I haven't seen them back since, and it's been a few weeks, and I really hope she looks for his red flags now. So first off, I've often dreamed of opening my own little restaurant, just like a little tavern bar kind of thing. Oh, it would be so nice. Seriously, folks, one of these days, I'm probably not going to do it, but I want to. And I can tell you this, if ever I saw a customer or learned about a customer leaving one of these fake $100 bills, they would be banned from the restaurant for life. Just like that. I think that is one of the most gross things that a person can do. If you're ever thinking it might be a funny joke or just a way to get away with something or whatever, you're not a great person. Think about your life, please. Yeah, I hate those fake $100 bills, be it for a prank or the ones where it's like, it's a religious thing, and it's like, oh, the real tip is Jesus. Then I want to shove that fake $100 bill straight up your rear end, you absolute cretin. Don't do this. Don't mess with servers. Their lives are hard enough. Tip, please. I know it sucks and everyone wants to make some excuses. Every time I say this, there's someone in the comments who's just like, "Whack, whack, whack." In America, you tip. If you want to go out to eat, you tip. It's part of the bill. Tip. Story 4. Am I the a-hole for wanting my ex-girlfriend to be able to attend our wedding when my fiancé doesn't want her to? I, 28 male, got engaged to my girlfriend, 27 female, 3 months ago, and we're planning our wedding. Now, we know how many of our friends we can invite, and we've started making our initial list. One of my close friends is right now in a relationship with a woman that I dated for 2 years. Our lives were going in different direction. I wanted to have kids, she doesn't, and we determined we needed to break up. It was amicable, and we're still on good terms, but I don't really talk to her all that much unless it's through my friend. I'm inviting my friend, and there's no doubt about it. I have no reason to not give him a +1, and he's obviously gonna bring his girlfriend. When I said this, my fiancé said she didn't want her at the wedding. At first, I tried to be accommodating. I explained the situation to my friend. He said he wouldn't feel comfortable going without her as she'd feel bad. I really wanted my friend to go, and I told my fiancé that we needed to let her come. She said she doesn't want some woman that I used to F there at her wedding. I told her that if she was feeling jealous, she would win. Like, literally, she won the crappy prize that is to marry me, and all I want is for my friend to be there. We argued about this back and forth. Eventually, she's in an accusing way asked why I wanted her at our wedding so badly. I told her that I already explained that it's not about her, it's about my friend, and that she obviously wasn't listening. We hit an impasse and moved on. She's still mad at me about it, and I'm still upset with her about it. Am I the a-hole? Ooh, this is tricky business here, folks. This is a tough one, because on one hand, this person just wants their friend there. And, it's not like there are any feelings there, stuff like that. But on the other hand, at a wedding, you need to respect each other's feelings about stuff, It's like, hey, if your fiancé really isn't comfortable having one of your exes around on your special day, that's going to affect her and suck. But not having your friend there will affect you and suck. And so what do you do? I feel like you're kind of arguing with the wrong person. I feel my stance is that you should be talking to your friend and be like, look, I really, really need you there. And I understand that you're seeing this person and that she's important to you, but perhaps you could explain this situation to her. Maybe she might understand, Maybe she can see that, but seriously, can you not come to a wedding without her? Like, I go to things without my partner. She goes to things without me. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't see why the friend is making this such a big deal. I think the fact that you are taking this to your fiance, dear person who has posted this, and getting upset with her about her feelings on it, I think that's a little misguided. And I don't think it makes you an a-hole, but I think you really need to go talk with that friend some more and make him see a little more clearly, because I can see why your bride would be uncomfortable with that. So, God, it's not just your special day to have your friend there, it's her special day too. So, I don't know. I hope it works out. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.